Hey, this is Mike from Junkie on Crafts and Builds, and this is the impressions video of the G.I. Joe Classified series, Kim, Jinx, Arashikage. So this is out of the latest wave with Doc, Torch, and the Night Creeper, and she's one of the few figures I was kind of excited for, but not as much as like Doc or Torch. But I have her in hand, so let's see how well she is. So we have, of course, this new minimized box design, great window up front showing the figure and all of her accessories. We have this really beautiful piece of artwork here with this really gorgeous look for Jinx. She's number 124. On the other side, of course, we have some of her stats and the QR code that we know really doesn't do anything. And then on the back, we have this nice render of the toy in a digital way, highlighting her stance here, I guess, in the dojo with her blindfold because she was trained by the blind master. And of course, like every other G.I. Joe figure in the world, we had to have a tattoo on her. So that's everything for the box. Let's just get her out and take a look at her. And here we have Jinx out of her packaging, and I'm going to keep saying it with each one of these new waves of Joes and Marvel Legends. The box is cool, the window's cool, but the plastic vac that surrounds and it holds these figures in place, it's too tight. It increases the chance of you bending something, which I almost did here with her accessories. So it just really annoys me. I hope Hasbro gets some feedback and they actually listen and fix some of this up. If you don't keep the boxes at all, even better. Take a pair of scissors, cut things out. Rant's over. So let's look at Jinx right here. And initially, out of the package, she doesn't look bad. The colors are really decent here. You get the shiny part from the hard plastic here for her torso, and then you get this matte for the rest of the body, so it's slightly distracting. Aesthetically, right off the bat, I mean, her face sculpt's really nice. She's got this short, softer hair. So we'll zoom in on that. So, like I said, her face sculpt in and of itself is really nice. A little shiny with the plastic, but like her lips, and it looks like it's a very light shade maybe underneath the eyes. I can't see here that well. Could just be my lighting. But her eyes are really sharp in these nice tight eyebrows. The back of her hair is a softer piece of plastic. So, all right, not a lot of that, but we'll look at that later. She's got this little floating necklace here. So moving on, again, the top part of her gi is that hard plastic, so it's shinier. But we've got this really nice tempo of a dragon here on her. And then, of course, we have to have a tattoo in the classified line, apparently. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's shapes and whatnot. I'm assuming it's supposed to be like flowers and such. But, again, we've had to break it at the elbow because why not? Then we got these black wraps. Looks like it's glued onto the forearm. And then up to the hands, which is black plastic. And they painted the flesh tone on the fists. And I believe the other hand. So, get this softer plastic for the bottom part of her top. With, again, this sash that's kind of just sculpted in place. There's the back. Hard plastic, well, it's softer plastic for her diaper. So we got this nice darker stripe along here to these newly sculpted legs. Down here at the knees, again, the hard plastic might not show it well on here in the camera, but this is a darker plastic compared to the softer rubber for her upper leg. Let's see, we got a boot swivel down here, and then simple black on the red for her sandals or shoes, whatever you want to call it. So not horrible looking at all, to say the least. Moving into accessories, we'll start with default fists that are on her out of the package, and they are on vertical hinges for both of them. Her alternate pair of hands are these gripping hands. Again, black plastic with flesh tone painted on. It's not bad. Got a little bit of overspray here. I'm trying to see if there's anywhere else. I mean, when they paint the flesh tone on black, it never really looks true to form. So it's not too bad, not too badly done. But you know, I'm sure when things start sliding, when I put things in her hands, that paint on the fingers are going to go. So at least they painted on the inside here of her hands. We get this sword and sheath, Arashikage katana, and it's a gray plastic with a brownish paint for the hilt. Pretty pliable, especially the sheath. It's that softer rubber, and the sheath fits into her back fairly well. Of course, there's no straps to show that it's being held in place, so it's magic. And she can hold the sword fairly well. Let's see if we can do a double-handed one. All right, so she can wield the sword with two hands. Her other weapon is a double-bladed naginata. Again, black with brown painted for these two grips, and then silver for the blades. And she can hold that well enough in her hands. Her last two accessories deal with her head, and she gets an alternate masked head. You know, red plastic. The paint on the face isn't bad, especially around the eyes. Looks pretty sharp. And then we got this soft pliable rubber piece that's glued to the back. And it looks decent enough in place. It's probably not something that I'm going to use just because it looks so off with like all this flesh being shown and then just the mask covering. I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? Do you like the masked head or the unmasked head? Her last accessory is her blindfold. Since, you know, she was trained by the blind master, a lot of her ninja skills and that were taught with her not being able to see. And it's a soft, very soft, pliable plastic. I do recommend taking the head off and putting it on from the bottom up versus the top down so you don't stretch it. But it's, you know, it's a decent enough that has a little bit of sculpt in as it fits around the eyes. And then around the back, it's got this sculpt here of like the windswept parts of it that are tied. So this is the head that blindfold is really intended for. And that looks so much better on this unmasked head. Again, take the head off and put it from the bottom up so you're not stretching it too much. But yeah, if I display her, this is how I'm going to do it. So talking about the character, I want to give my usual shout outs for the YouTuber and the websites that I use very often for my research on these G.I. Joe figures. JLS Comics, his YouTube channel is full of Joe character bios. Additionally, I look at uojo.com and Joepedia to help provide extra context for these figures as I start looking through them here. So talking about Jinx, she is an enigma. Her name and her heritage was shrouded in mystery. She was brought into the Joes by Snake Eyes. This female ninja was born in Los Angeles, California. Martial arts appeared to be in her genes, as she studied and competed in 3 forms of martial arts from the age of 7 until her graduation at Bryn Mawr University in Pennsylvania, which is the same university that Lady J graduated from, based on Jay's bio. During her youth, her family would take vacations to Japan, where she'd meet her family. And that family was the masters of the Arashikage clan. During these trips and subsequent graduation, Kim trained with the blind master from the clan, and he taught her the 7 silent forms to increase her extensive knowledge and trained her to be a female ninja. Due to her training with the blind master, Jinx often trained with a blindfold over her eyes, hence many of her appearances we see her fight with her eyes covered. Jinx enlisted in the United States Army with a primary specialty in intelligence and a secondary specialty as a finance clerk, because at the time when Larry Hama was writing the bios, women were still not allowed to be in frontline engagements. But it was Snake Eyes who recruited her into the G.I. Joe team. Jinx's first appearance was in the Marvel Comics A Real American Hero, issue number 59. In the later half of the Marvel series, Jinx became part of Storm Shadow's Ninja Force, and that happened in issue 145, where she and the rest of the Ninja Force set up a dojo in Spanish Harlem, New York. She was with the Joes when they were decommissioned in issue 155, which was the final issue of this series. While never in the Sunbow cartoon, Jinx was part of the new recruits being trained by Beachhead in G.I. Joe the movie. And she also had an epic battle with the villainous Pythona at the end of the movie in Cobra La. Jinx was released in toy form in the 6th wave of the Real American Hero toy line in 1987. She was in stores until 1989, and additionally she was available from Hasbro Direct as a mail-away figure in 1989. She was also in the 1987 toy commercial for the Cobra Maggot, where she and other Joes are riding on the Persuader. Her second figure was part of the Toys R Us exclusive Tiger Force 5-pack with Wreckage, Stalker, Dial Tone, and Big Brawler. In 2012, she was an exclusive figure for that year's San Diego Comic-Con. She also had a variant during the show sporting a different head, a Kuzeragama, which is a Kama with a chain combination weapon. Her final figure was part of the Retaliation line of 2013, where she was decked out in a yellow and black jumpsuit and had a gimmick accessory of a weapon pack for storage that opened up and held a zipline feature for her. So that's the retrospective on Jinx. Let's go through articulation on this new classified figure. And first and foremost, we're going to see what the neck joint looks like. Alright, so as you can see, it's the ball joint and such, and again, there's no real room for her head to go, so unfortunately, what I anticipated happening is going to be real, but let's just go ahead and start going through this stuff. So, head. She can kind of look up that far, not really look down at all, but you can get some tilt, which is good for her. Not the greatest overall articulation, especially when you have this neck joint down here and this ball peg that does absolutely nothing here to help her at all. We can strike a T-pose pretty easily. We have butterfly joints. Kinda. Good Lord. What's the point of having that cut? It doesn't work at all. See if the other side is the same way. Yeah, there's a butterfly joint, but it barely does anything. So she really can't do too much at all with those. That's unfortunate. And this joint is, inside the shoulder part here. So when you lift your arm up, it automatically goes out instead of up straight. I'm already getting frustrated with this. So we have, again, the soft rubber here for the shoulder and to the bicep cut. It's slightly, it's curved, so it's not going to totally bomb when you start messing around with it, but you start bringing our arm in, it's going to break the sculpt. So, all right, double jointed elbows get you a pretty decent range. That's a good thing. So they don't look too ugly. The sculpt inside the arm is nice. She actually has some muscle definition. Can't really say that a lot about some of the Joe female sculpts. Again, on the outside as well. We already talked about the hands. They're both on vertical hinges, both options. So, all right. So we have a mid-torso cut here. That's going to allow you, I guess, to give the upper one. There is a waist swivel, but this rubber bottom here makes it a little difficult. But, all right, so we have this upper torso. Let's see what we can do here. Oh my God. Okay. So there's really she has no crunch. She has no ab crunch at all. She can lean back at the upper torso, but I can't tell what's underneath here. All right. So underneath, she has a ball peg to her diaper, but you can't do anything with it. You can't bend forward. You can't really bend back. And that's annoying, man. So she can't really, articulate as a ninja. She's stiff. I mean, not the joint is stiff itself, but the engineering behind the joint is stiff. Okay, let's just get through the rest of this here. Like I said, so she has her waist, she's got this big section here for the upper part of her pants, if I can talk. All right, like I said, a waist. She barely has a drop down. Well, all right, let me zoom in here. Hold on. So if you can see here, she does have drop down hips, but because of the cut of the upper part of the pants, her drop down hips already down the entire way. So any other movement, you're just getting that much. So there's no real drop down. Okay. So she can get her leg up that far. Out, straight. So I mean, she can do the split. She can't go back at all. All right, we have thigh cut here. With all the sculpting on this new leg, anytime you move it around, it's going to break the sculpt. So, all right, double jointed pinless knees. Can't go back any more than that. So a little bit past 90. Why? Oh, well, because looking at the back of her leg sculpt and then the sculpt of the upper calf here, you try to bend it back, there's no sculpt compensation to allow her to get her legs up all the way. So the sculpt is preventing the articulation at this point. Okay. We got upper calf cut for your boot. Feet can go down that far, up that far. Not a lot of really decent pivot. So if you want to get her in a pose, like to get down, you can't. You can't. Like if you wanted to bend back, like she's doing a matrix type thing, that's the best you can get. So while she looks decent, her articulation sucks. Like basically the poses I was doing earlier in the video, that's kind of like her bread and butter at this point. Anyway, all right, so that's the majority of things for her. let's go to final thoughts. So final impressions of Kim, Jinx, Arashikage. I'm not going to lie about this one. I'm really disappointed in this figure because while aesthetically she may be decent, not fantastic, but decent enough, her articulation just doesn't do it for me. I can't get her to do what I want her to do, which stinks because she's supposed to be a ninja. She's supposed to be agile, especially a female ninja. She should be able to like move all over the place and get into these really cool like Catwoman poses and whatnot. And you just can't with her. You know, everything revolves around a body at the torso. And some of these things just doesn't work. You know, not only we got these small feet that make it difficult to stand a little bit, but you know, there I'm trying to get her to crouch down or try to make a, you know, have this kind of like low center of gravity, and she's standing up. She's bending her knees and standing, so she might as well just be doing our exercise class. It's just really frustrating. Positives though, the unmasked head is definitely better than the masked head, especially when you add on this blindfold accessory. Definitely harkens back to the storyline about her. The tattoo, I mean, it's there for deco, but yeah, it's fine for what it is. It's not complete, but you know. But the overall paint, I mean, the mix of the hard plastic shininess with the matte, softer plastic, and then the, you know, the joints here where the hard plastic is again for her elbows and knees. The elbows aren't as bad, but the knees are definitely two different colors. Could distract you from enjoying what's going on with her. And she's got enough weapons, accessories to be cool. I mean, she's got a sword and she's got her pole weapon. Those are definitely items that, you know, we're used to seeing with her. But if you can't make some cool stuff work with her, then it doesn't matter. Another annoying thing with the engineering, she has butterflies, but they do nothing. She has a double ball peg neck, but it does nothing. Like, she has articulation concepts and everything, but the engineering fails her. So, do I recommend her right now? Out of all the figures of the wave I've seen so far, she's now my least favorite. And that's unfortunate because, you know, a lot of excitement was around Jinx when she was announced and like the initial pictures. But she just doesn't do it for me. So if you're looking for that nostalgia hit, she's there, but she's just really going to be standing in the background, in my opinion. So that's everything for Jinx. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Give me some comments down below. Are you excited for Jinx? Do you have her in hand and she's not fulfilling what you imagine her to be? Or is she everything you expected? Let me know. Point me in the direction where I'm missing a lot of this stuff. And I'll happily listen to what you have to say. So again, if you guys like this stuff, please like and share the videos. And if I've earned your subscription, it takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. And I greatly appreciate it, as I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I think we're on our way. I think it's a goal that we can achieve. So thank you guys for watching again. Thanks. Bye.